Hey guys, welcome to Surf and Show. I'm Noel Salas, and today's surfboard review is on the Maguro Twin Fin by SharpEye Surfboards. Now I've got two boards. This is an EPS Epoxy Custom 5.0 coming in at 26.6 liters. And this is a PU Poly Stock 5.2 coming in at 26.6 liters also. Now I'm 5'9" and 160 pounds. This is going to be a fun review. Sit back, get your favorite drink, enjoy the show. Now as we dive into the attributes of the Maguro, I want to point out a couple things that on the outline of how I chose the sizes I went with. Now 5.2 stock coming in at 26.6 liters, that's right in my range for flotation. And as you can see, it's relatively wide, right? And when I'm looking at this board, when Marcio says, hey, let's get this board up for review, I'm super into twin fins. They're a lot of fun. When I see the width up here, right off the bat, I'm thinking, by design, if I put too much weight forward, it could catch up here. And my experience has been with other twin fins by other manufacturers that have more of a classic fish outline, is I like them a little bit on the shorter side. That way when I'm surfing it, it won't catch up here. And the board's free to do whatever I want. Now, with that being said, the 5.0 felt great. It didn't catch up here. Now, sweet spot on this board can get a little bit smaller as I go shorter. But for me, the EPS Epoxy had great flow. I felt like I was able to do the turns I wanted to do, and I had to focus less about this board catching up here. Now, one of the other things I want to talk about is, since this is 5 foot and this is 5'2", at times I like the rail line, the 2 inches extra in rail line and length that I had on this particular board. So when you go to order this board, either stock or custom, keep in mind what it is for you that's important. If you're a heavily front-footed surfer, it could catch up here if you go too long. You might want to go a little bit on the shorter side. Now, some of the key features on the Maguro that I really liked is the glide and the paddle. He's packing this thing full of foam at 26.6 liters EPS Epoxy. It's really floating like 27 and some change. Now, it has a flat deck, so the rails are somewhat full, but they're soft and forgiving. And as I turn the board like this, you're going to see it has a pretty wide tail with maybe a little side cut right here. It's got a really deep swallowtail, and I felt like I had good traction. For me, a twin fin true test is always backside. If I can come off the bottom and get a solid bottom turn and stick a top turn and have that traction, that's what I'm looking for. I feel like on twin fins for me, especially front side, it's a little easier for me to control the board with heel toe pressure. And backside, for me, it has to have the right set of fins. And if I can get the right fins in it and get that kind of hold, I have a lot more fun, especially at some of the point breaks that I surf. Now I want to talk about the V bottom this board has from nose to tail. And it's really important. What I'm feeling underfoot is a lot of surety at high speeds. When I hit my rail turns, it's going to hold, and this is why. When we have the V starting at the nose, you can see it's getting more aggressive. Here's in front of the fins, behind the fins, all the way through the tail. Now, I talk about V most of the time on boards. It's mostly back here behind the fins, maybe the last 6 inches or just at the tail, and it really helps the board roll over on rail and stay. But what I was experiencing is the Maguro's really fast. Think about a boat. When a boat floors it, it sits down and it drives. Well, that's how this board felt. When I was going really fast, I felt like I had the surety underfoot that when I want to put it on rail, I could get the rail to bite and hold and drive through turns. As opposed to most other twin fins that I ride that kind of have this outline. They're doing a concave, right? So it's creating lift and giving us more speed. And then they're putting just a little bit of V in the tail at the exit here so it helps roll over. And what happens to me with those boards is you get going so fast that you feel like there's no way I could hit this turn and actually hold. Well, the Maguro felt like I could put it on rail and hold it on rail, and it never felt like it was going to slide out, even if I didn't have the right fins in there. And for me, the Maguro was all about fins and getting the right fin in the board, and I want to talk about that next. Now, as we dive into fins, I rode 3 different fin templates on the 5.2 with the FCS2 plugs. I started with the retro keel, and the first set of waves are with that keel fin only. But what I want to point out is this little black dot right here. That's called the shaper's dot. And I want to pick a fin that when I click it in, the trailing edge is right on the mark. So I chose the retro keel. Let's have a look at some waves and see what they look like. Now my experience on the retro keel was I see the base, it has the drive, but it's a relatively shallow fin. My initial thoughts were, is it gonna hold? And remember I was talking about the V bottom on the Maguro? That really helped the fin give me the hold I was looking for, so it never felt like it was gonna slide out, but I kind of felt like these were more of a cruiser type fin. It wasn't easy to get it vertical in the pocket. All it wanted to do was carve, and I didn't feel like I could get the performance that I wanted out of the fin, so I didn't spend a lot of time on them. I quickly wanted to check out the Power Twins.
We're fighting a war I don't think we can win. When it's a good thing, baby, I ain't thinking. Hey, step away from that pit now, baby. Ain't nothing but hell down there. Ooh. Saying, many good men died young, child, and some bad ones, cold and gray. You can say what you want, you can go where you please. With a heart inside, child, that's the only thing I see. Hey, step away from that pit now, baby. Ain't nothing but hell down.
Now that we saw some waves on the Power Twins, this is completely opposite of the retro keels. And you can see it's a lot more upright, it's got a way shorter base, so it's not going to have as much drive through turns. I knew this fin wasn't going to go well for one reason. Here's the shaper's dot right here. You see how short the base is from hitting that? That means I'm not going to get the drive, and these fins are way too far forward. And what I was feeling out there is that the board's super loose and hard to control. Now, because of the V bottom on the Maguro, it never felt like it was going to slide out. But it was catching a bunch up here, and I had to nurse my turns. But this is a good experiment for you guys to see what a twin fin rides like when the fin boxes are way too far forward. The board is loose, hard to control, it lacks drive and speed.
I'm saying, many good men died young, child, and some bad ones, cold and gray. Huh.
Now that you've seen some footage on the modern keels, this actually felt the best. And I had to borrow these fins from a friend. And the reason I picked these out is because I saw Philippe out surfing the point breaks, and he was ripping hard, and I wanted to see what fins he was using, and he had the modern keels in there. One of the things I want to point out about the modern keel is the shaper's dots right here. Still a bit short from here to here. It's short. And at times it felt great, and other times it felt like it was just a little off. But for me, the modern Keels felt the best out of the three. Now that you've seen a few waves with the Almeric Keels, and if you follow the show, you know I'm a huge fan of this fin, and it goes good in most twin fins. I want to point out something here. If we're looking at the shaper's dot, this fin goes past it. And remember, fins that are in front of it, they feel loose and hard to control. If we move it back, it tightens it up. And I also want you to look at the amount of rake and how far back this fin sets. I felt like I could push hard, and it's offering that resistance, both front side and back side. It's got good hold and good drive, but the board felt just a bit tight because it has so much surface area and it's past the shaper's dot. Now this last set of fins is a prototype. This is a design I've been working on with Naked Viking Surf, and it's a high performance keel. Now, when I put the fin in the box, it hits the shaper's dot perfectly. Check some of these waves out.
From that pit now, baby. Ain't nothing but hell down there. Say one more time. Many good men died young, child. Some bad ones, cold and gray.
And what I like about this fin is it has a good amount of base, so I'm getting a lot of drive or speed through turns. It's a bit more upright, so it's going to pivot quick. It's got less surface area than the Almeric Keels, and we kind of thinned out or refined the tip a bit so I can get some release. Now I could be a little bit biased because it's my fin design, but I'm really stoked on the performance, and I feel like they're holding their own against some of the other fins we tested. Now, if I were to do it again, I'd go stock 5.2, EPS epoxy, future boxes, so we have a lot more twin fin options. And the reason I want to go 5.2 is I want the extra couple inches in rail length, because I felt like sometimes, especially front side, coming off the bottom, I'd smother the front foot up here a little bit on both, where I'd kind of get caught at the bottom. If I had that extra rail line, I think it would happen less often. Running this twin fin set, I'd be stoked. I think you guys will be too. So let's look at some waves together. Kind of a slopey left, just a little cut back. Nice bottom turn right there. Good release from the fins at the top. Right into a little cutback. So the little 5.0 is feeling good with good flow. Here's the 5.2. I really like the extra 2 inches in rail line. Good spray right there, because I can really lay into these turns and hold it on rail longer. Now on the little 5.0, quick little turn, but I like the agility and the maneuverability of the 5.0 too. Now on this last little right here, throwing lots of spray. Nice little cutback right here. You can see the board's holding good speed, able to finish the wave strong and having fun. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed today's review on the Maguro by SharpEye Surfboards. I had a blast, and I highly recommend it for intermediate all the way to pro level surfers to have maximum fun in 1 to 4 foot surf. Special shout out thanks to Marcio Zuvi for sending these boards down for review. And if you like the show, subscribe. And if you like our content, give us a thumbs up. Until next time, we'll see you in the water. Bye-bye.